So, the NBA play-in tournament has come under a lot of scrutiny recently, with LeBron James saying that whoever came up with it needs to be fired. But in today's video, I'm going to give a few reasons why I actually like the NBA play-in tournament. So quickly, to explain the play-in tournament, if you do not know, it's sort of a pre-playoff tournament to decide the 7 and 8 seeds. Seeds 1 through 6 in each conference will still make the NBA playoffs. And then seeds 7 and 8 in each conference will play each other in a one-off game to determine the 7 seed. So the winner of the 7-8 game will be the 7 seed. And then the 9 seed and the 10 seed will also play each other in a one-off game. The loser of that game will be automatically eliminated. And then the loser of the 7-8 seed game and the winner of the 9-10 seed game will play each other for the 8 seed. So I hope that explains it. If not, I have a whole video on how it works. But to get into the reasons why I like it, and my first reason is it makes every seed matter more. Often in the NBA, once you get into the final 10, 12 games of the season, teams, they're sort of on the beach. Their seed has already been decided. They're already comfortably in the 3 to 6 seed range and no real risk of falling out of the playoffs, and they're more worried about playoff matchups. But now, every seed matters more. The 1 and 2 seed matters because you get to play a team that already has to go through the play-in to start. The 6 seed matters a lot because you don't have to be in the play-in and you're in the playoffs. And the 10 seed, the 8 seed also matters because you only have to win one game to qualify for the playoffs instead of 2. And the 10 seed matters because it means you're in the playoffs or in the play-in versus not in the play-in. So every seed matters more, which means coming down the stretch, there's less meaningless games. Lots of regular season games coming down the stretch have huge playoff implications in terms of seeding and whether a team will finish in the play-in. We have a great play-in race for the 5, 6, 7 in the West with the Mavericks, Blazers, Lakers. That's going to be a massive race to see what two teams get to avoid the play-in and what team gets to play in it. Also, the race for the 10 seed in the East is sort of tight. The race for those 7 and for that 8 seed in the West between the Grizzlies and the Warriors is close. And in the whole Eastern Conference, there's also a race to not have the 7 seed and to be the 6 seed between teams like the Heat and the Celtics. So it makes every seed matter more, and there's more important games down the stretch. Okay, my second reason is that it disincentivizes tanking and gives teams more to play for. So obviously, some teams are still going to tank. For example, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they don't really care about the play-in at all. They're tanking. And, that's going to happen every year. There's really nothing the league could do to affect that. But it gives teams in those 11, 12 slots a reason to play up to the end of the regular season. Teams like the Pelicans and like the Kings right now. And then also in the East, teams like the Bulls and the Raptors. Instead of just packing it in for the rest of the season, they have something to fight for because you get the 10 seed and you're in the play-in. This has also affected trades. For example, the Bulls at the trade deadline were sort of in the play-in race, and they decided instead of packing the season in, getting a high pick, they trade picks and they get Nikola Vucevic to make a push for the playoffs. Obviously, it hasn't quite worked out for them, and they've had to deal with some injuries and protocol stuff. But it incentivizes teams to go for it, which is great for in the NBA. It's not good with so many teams tanking. Obviously, some teams are still tanking, but in the whole NBA, I only see 5 teams, the Magic, Cavs, Pistons, Thunder, and Rockets willingly be bad right now. All the other teams, Wolves, Kings, Pelicans, they're Raptors, they're sort of tanking-ish, but they're all going for the play-in, and it gives teams more to play for. There's more teams competing this year than almost any other year, and that's partially due to the play-in, which is great. Okay. My third reason, and this is definitely a bigger factor in this year, is that it gives good teams affected by either the virus, protocols, or injuries. It gives them a chance. It means that if you started off slow, your season isn't ruined. And the best example of this is the Wizards. They had a really tough start to the season, and then Westbrook was injured and they got shut down by the virus, and Bradley Beal was unhappy, but they were out of it, and they've come together in the second half of the season, and they're definitely a good enough team. Like, if they get into the play-in, they're going to give teams a scare, and it's good that a team like the Wizards doesn't just pack it in, because they have a chance to make the play-in, and they decide to go for it. And right now they're in the 10 seed, and they're looking really dangerous. And in a normal year, they'd just be out of it because of things that are out of their control and not their fault. But in this season with the play-in, they still have a chance, and they could realistically win 2 games and just be in the playoffs. And then you never know what happens. So I really like that. I really like that it encourages teams that even have a slow start to the season to keep going for it. And it means that obviously they're affected a little bit, but your season isn't ruined because you have an injury, which happens too often in the NBA, in my opinion. So that's the third reason. And then my fourth and final reason is that the games are going to be amazing. Like, these games are going to be super exciting. They're going to be March Madness, except it's the best athletes and basketball players on the planet. One-off games that decide playoff, like who gets into the playoffs. It can't really get more exciting than that, apart from, Game 7 in the playoffs. But this is going to be really, really exciting, and there's going to be good teams and good players in these play-in tournaments. If you look right now in the East, the play-in is the Celtics, Hornets, Pacers, and Wizards. I mean, they're not amazing teams, but those are good teams. You have players like Westbrook, Beal, LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all playing in these one-off games with real stakes. And that's just going to be really, really exciting. And you look to the West, and it gets even better in the West. Because, well, right now it's the Blazers, but one of Dame, Luka, or LeBron will be playing in the play-in tournament. That's just a fact. And then the Warriors with Steph Curry, the Grizzlies and their exciting young team, and then the Spurs. Okay, they're not great, but they're still a decent team. They have DeRozan. They're going to be playing the Grizzlies in the first play-in game as it stands right now. But these games are going to be so exciting. They're really important. And they're before the playoffs, and they really, really matter. So I'm really excited for the play-in tournament. It starts on May 18th, and these are going to be good games, and I like the play-in tournament. Whether it's here to stay, I think so. I think it's going to be a huge success for the league. Maybe they can make it in the future, if this doesn't quite work out, and once they get back to, or if they get back to 82 games, maybe it'll just be the 8-9 like it was last year. But especially in this season, and probably for the future, I really like the play-in. I like how it gives every team a chance, makes every game matter more, and these games are just going to be great. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more NBA content. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.